Desailly, welcome back to Australia. We understand it's been a long time since you've been here, and it was only a brief experience for you last time.
It's true, yeah. We played against the national team of Australia. It was raining. It was a special game. We've stayed only 2 days in Australia. This time I'm staying a week, then it's a bit better.
This time you can make more memories than last time around. Let's start by talking about Chelsea. Of course, there's one very significant change at the top. Before we get to Villa Boas, let's talk about the dismissal of Carlo Ancelotti. Were you surprised in the manner it happened?
Yes, I was really surprised. I think really he had a discussion with the chairman, and probably the way he wanted to set up his team on the field was not what he was looking for, and it was maybe better for him to to step back. And it's a shame because, come on, you win the league, you finish second in the second year, you had the confidence on the players. The players were still behind him. It's a decision. I mean, when you run the club, you make the decision then, but Abramovich is a really passionate. I had him when I was in Chelsea at the time, and he really loved his game, and he looks like also he wants some changes, and he was expecting good things. But this young coach, is he able to perform? Is he able to bring the discipline in the team? Because the players are top class.
We know, though, from his time in Portugal that he can bring certainly a tactical sharpness, and it's a fascinating story, one of the brightest young coaches certainly in European football. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing Villa Boas at Chelsea?
Like I said, to get the respect from the players. The players, when they have reached a certain level, you need to match with the various achievement that the players have done. Where were you last year? Okay, Porto, you've done, but 2 years ago, where were you? 3 years ago, where were you? To ask us to do this, to reorganize the tactical setup during the season. A player that is used to be a proper striker, to ask him, to drop a little bit. Who are you? Where are you coming from? To be sure about what you're doing. This will be the main problem.
Is that only a problem with the older players in the squad?
Yes, I mean all the players, even the young one now, they have a lot of experience. They need to feel. Ancelotti was an ex-player. You get already his consideration on that aspect. On top of that, as a coach, he won. He won Champions League. He was at AC Milan. I mean, he have proof. This one is coming from nowhere, and we want to trust him. We want to see. I mean, his first debut will be crucial, and probably also the way where he can gain the confidence is the training session. When you are able to prove to your players that you know exactly where you are doing, the training session that you're doing with them is very well organized, like Mourinho were doing, then maybe he can work. The message can go through.
Does the age factor work to his advantage in some way, though, that he's on a personal level maybe easier able to relate to the players?
No, you just have to take a distance a bit with the players, not to get too much friendly with them, because some sort of age, more responsibility. But yeah, it's just a matter of the distance that he's going to take. A bit close, but very hard on them, because you need to, like I was saying, the discipline, it's something crucial.
Fernando Torres wasn't an immediate success. Do you expect him to have a vastly better season this time around? Of course, a full pre-season and so on as well.
You could tell that he was not finding Fernando Torres. The body language was not the Torres that we have seen, with Liverpool, with Gerrard behind him, the way he played, his movement, the speed, the way he asked the ball, the way he reacts when he misses an opportunity to score. The pre-season training will be crucial for him to get the speed. Also mentally, I'm sure he's able to get back to his level.
Like you say, you worked with Roman Abramovich, a man who certainly on the outside appears very hungry for success, and we've seen that with the turnover of coaches. How deep is his patience?
No, I mean, he loves football. When you talk with him, he will tell you that football is his reason of life. I mean, he's been supporting football, he's been watching football all his life when he was young, and actually he acquired a club to... The only problem he have is that there's a big gap between what the club is now, Chelsea, and what they have achieved. He's missing the Champions League. He's missing that consistency that Manchester United is doing. Then he wants more. He wants more. That's why he's been able to spend. They need a playmaker. It's obvious they need to, because the defense is fine, strong midfield. We have a lot. Essien is injured, but still you have a quality midfield. You're just missing the offensive animation for this club. And a playmaker, somebody who have the magic stick to be able to help the others to make the difference.
We need also in Australia this kind of player. Just on a broader topic with the Premier League, how do you think the standard, the level has changed to where it is now from when you were playing?
Wow, the Barclays Premier League, I mean, it's now the best league. I mean, on the media coverage worldwide, there's no doubt about that, yeah. Also on the way that he's been, developing the speed, the way the fans are enjoying the game, the controversy. It's a package. It's a package. Technically, it has improved, but mostly it's tactically. I think it has really improved in these 10 years. I've stopped playing in 2005, let's say like that. It has improved quite a lot, yeah.
With a lot of foreign coaches coming in and that influence?
Yeah, he came gradually. I mean, foreigner coaches, at the time Ranieri came, he brought, professionalism on the food, on the diet, on the tactic. You had players like Vialli, Van Nistelrooy. They have brought also capacity to move on the pitch with brain, not like before, fighting spirit, long ball, and everybody ran behind the ball. They have, now understand that you need to upgrade the level of the game, the tactical aspect.
We've seen a lot of new money, though, coming into the game in England. It's something that UEFA seems maybe keen to manage, I guess, particularly the case of Manchester City in the last couple of years. Do you think there's a need for maybe tighter financial controls to perhaps ensure a more level playing field?
Mm-hmm. No, the interest of the media is there, and the money continue to come in. The sponsors are still there. To put a salary cap is not possible. I mean, talent, you are dealing with talent. How can you put a salary cap on the players, on the club? How can you control the club to spend more than what they have? People are responsible for this money that is missing in the club. I don't really know how you can, because it will continue to grow. I mean, football will grow, and the interest on the money aspect, the players are earning more and more, and it will continue. It's a fact. In Europe, actually, it's the best sport. It's the sport's number one, and you cannot compare yet the let's say the salary aspect, the budget aspect to globally, to what is happening in America with the American football, with the basketball, with the baseball. When you talk about the salary, people are complaining, but you don't find any soccer player, apart maybe from Beckham, who is not a soccer player, he's more than that. You don't find any player, football player, soccer player, into the first 15 most, pay sportsman.
What about the case, though, in Germany, where they've got regulations in place that wages are only a percentage of turnover and so on? Is that a way that you could see working in England?
No chance. No. The good example is in France, by the way. It's in France where the government has been able to, and the federation, to set up la DGNC. It's a special control on the club. You cannot spend what you don't have. You need to develop your activity according to the budget that it's set up at the beginning. Sponsor, potential calculation on the entry of the supporters and the fans. This is it. And maybe the money that the chairman will put in, this is another aspect.
Does coaching still appeal? There were some suggestions that you were in the running for the Ghanaian job.
Yes. It was on track. Yeah, I was going to have it. They have delay. and I was having other opportunity. That's why it did not happen. But I'm having my coaching badges now, and it will come. I mean, national team for the moment, because the everyday commitments as a professional level is difficult. Yes, everyday commitment, if it's for the young, for the youth, is great, because you feel that you give back and the pressure is reduced. But for the professional level, every day on your shoulder, not easy.
Just quickly on the French national team, what have you been impressed by the changes under Laurent Blanc and maybe this young crop of French players? How do you think it compares to the golden generation which you were a part of?
Yeah, Lolo have done well, you know. It was not so difficult to realize or to do what he have done. We were completely down. It was, you know, at the end of the hole. I mean, you could not really go, deeper. And with his experience and his ability, he managed to bring some new players, fresh players, some that Dominic at the time have forgotten, like Nasri, Benzema, give them responsibility to make them understand that the shirt that they are wearing is the country, and you need to have a civic sense. And all of them have stick together, and it has, gradually come up. And luckily, he, as a coach, we were saying before, he can, explain to the players and show them, look, this is the way. And this is how, during my own career, I've been able, to continue to perform with work, patience, dedication.
12 years on from that successor that you were part of, the European Championships, how do you think France will go next year? Yes,
we won them, I'm not sure for 2012, but gradually the potential is there. I mean, an amazing potential. Slowly, all of them are starting to be real first choices in their club, and huge potential. I don't see them winning the European Cup, but they will perform, I'm sure. They will perform, they will play with heart, at least. This is what we French people are expecting, without any controversy again, problem, no training.
You finished your playing career in Qatar, a country that I was in for the Asian Cup earlier this year, and was welcomed with warm hospitality. How do you see the World Cup going in Qatar in a decade or so?
Yes, it was a great experience to play in Qatar. People very well educated, stable. They wanted to promote their league and the country at the time. That's why they have brought in some old players like me at the time. And now they want to promote the country at the highest level. Then they managed to get the World Cup. If they change the period of summertime and they put it into January, because it's too hot in June, really 50 degree, amazing. Probably it will be a success. They have the logistic, they have the capacity. What they have built in Dubai or in Qatar, it's completely amazing. And remember, it's the World Cup. No matter where, it will work. Then you just need the infrastructure and it will be okay. Just before we let you go, a one-word answer, who will win the Premier League title this season? Liverpool. I'm a Chelsea fan, but Liverpool. Done. You've made all. There's a lot of Liverpool fans in Australia, I can tell you. You've made them very happy. Marcel Desailly, thank you very much for your time. Okay. Thank you.